Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
今度は宇宙で決戦だ。ロックマン。ロボット犬ラッシュを従え、さらにパワーアップ。ファミコンソフトロックマン3ドクター・ワイリーの最後、近日発売予定。カプコン。
Alright, hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. We can be contacted if you email us at podtendo@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Podtendo Podcast on Twitter. We're on Instagram if you search us out there. Don't look us up at Facebook. There's an account, but I think it might be dead. YouTube, there's like some type of a vibrant presence. Maybe you're listening to us on YouTube. So it's exciting stuff. I'm your co-host, Mick. You can find me... No, I'm just Mick. I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host...
Tyson.
Hi, welcome. Good day. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You know me, cannot complain ever. So that's how we roll. So Podtendo is a review, retrospective, let's play pop culture-y show. So we're going to do all those things. We're going to kind of review a game today. We're going to do a little bit of retrospective on it. We're going to tell you about our playthrough. And we're going to talk about a little pop culture. So I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I think we got a fun one lined up. It's a little bit more action-packed than our regular episodes.
Yeah, and this is actually one of those ones we've been meaning to get to for such a long time. Again, if you click on the video, you know where we are, so I don't know why we jump around. We're looking at Mega Man 3 for the NES today. This was... Because I think we powered through. If you looked the first couple shows, maybe 20 shows, I hit Mega Man, I think by myself, and then Mega Man 2, maybe you joined me, but you didn't play or something like that. So we're looking at the third iteration, and I've been meaning for years to kind of look at just the original NES collection, the other Mega Man games, the Mega Man X series. So it's nice that we're finally getting to this. And maybe spoilers at a future big year-end review, maybe Mega Man makes an appearance.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of these games to get through, 6 on the original NES, and then we got the X series, so tons and tons of good games to get through, and they've always just kind of been a part of our childhood, and they sparked certain creativity, so
yeah.
Definitely need to be on the list, so I'm happy we got to it.
Cool, yo. So into the vital stats of this fun game as we dive in. It was developed by Capcom. This game specifically has sold over 1 million copies. It was released September 28th, 1990. How long to beat has this game at 3.5 hours. Price at release was $49.99, and if you factored in inflation, that'd be $90 today. Holy smokes. On eBay, copy of this game is going to be anywhere from $60 to $150 for an inboxed copy. On eShop, it's about $5 on 3DS, and if you buy the Mega Man Collection, it may cost you $5 for all the classic games. So definitely worth it. I know Capcom looked like PlayStation Network had a kind of Capcom. Now, this was also months ago. I realize I'm recording this a month in advance. But if you do keep your eye out, Mega Man X collection, sometimes you can buy them all for relatively cheap. I think every single Mega Man and Mega Man X game, there was a bundle that was $50 or something like that on sale. So if you keep your eye open, that's not a bad $50 if you want a wide variety of games. So
yeah, and it's on a ton of different consoles. So if you have a preference of one, just keep an eye on it. If you don't want to miss a sale, just literally go to your whatever one you like to use and just add it to your wish list.
Yeah.
They'll send you an email once on sale, so you don't miss it. And I think these things go on sale at least twice a year by my count. Because I know you at least get the Boxing Day. Usually it's around Boxing Day holiday. It's on sale, and then about midsummer it's usually again on sale. So, and then sometimes Capcom's just here's a Thursday sale. Here's all our stuff 70% off. So
Capcom's pretty good
keep an eye on
about
it.
the sales too.
Yeah.
Between Resident Evil, Mega Man, Street Fighter, maybe they have too. They're usually pretty good for that.
Yeah.
So where to play, like we alluded to, pretty much everything. NES, PlayStation, any of the Mega Man collections on the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, more modern systems. You'll find this fun title. So sweet stuff. I think I played it on the Mega Man Legacy Collection on my 3DS. So that's where I played it. Fun on the go.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I mean, I think that these games portable just work so well. So that's why I think the Switch is a really strong platform. But I can't just keep buying everything for the Switch.
Yeah,
just can't.
Diversify. Got to diversify, just like a portfolio. Anyways, let's look. Now that we kind of know the vital stats, where this game is, you might ask yourself, where were you when this game came out? Maybe you were just a little tiny itty-bitty baby and you have no idea what was going on in the world of pop culture. Well, maybe other people were alive. So it's not just about babies. Don't be a baby. Let's look at, jump into our patented Wayback Machine, travel back to the year September 28th, 1990, and ask the age-old question, do we want to live there? So we start out by asking the favorite show. So it's between two today. Season 1 of The Simpsons, episode 13, Some Enchanted Evening. Homer and Marge try to go on a date while the kids take on the Babysitter Bandit, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, season 4, episode 18. Back to the Egg? Krang hires a multi-dimensional ringmaster who intends to make the Turtles part of his circus. He uses an anti-age serum, and Leo and Mikey are turned into 5-year-olds. So outside of those two shows, what would you rather go back in time and watch?
Very interesting. So we had like the season 4, I think, is a very strange season of Ninja Turtles. The seasons that everybody kind of remembers the most fondly are like 1 and 2. I think 3 starts getting really weird, and then 4 and 5 had like almost 2 completely different new studios. I can't entirely remember. And this Simpson episode always resonated with me. It's so like interesting. I don't think that there's been many other stories where like all 3 kids are in danger. Like it feels like there's actually like imminent danger. Like the babysitter is a threatening person and could hurt these kids. Never does.
Yeah.
I think that's why it got aired. But very, very cool. Like she just like ties them up or whatever. But still, it's like very scary as a kid that your babysitter would just all of a sudden turn into an actual like someone that's like most on America's Most Wanted, which was super popular at the time, and I'm pretty sure it was like right after this. So that was right in like the ethos of what everybody was feeling. So it was almost like you watched Simpsons and then you watched like America's Most Wanted, and like this was just a blend of those two shows all mixed in one. And yeah, there's some really highlights of the animation and some low marks of the animation, but there's some scenes of this I think are actually like fantastic. And then some scenes are just like cringe. So I don't know what was going on with the animation studio, but I feel like this was one of the ones that they had to send back multiple times. But yeah, like I think hands down, I gotta go with The Simpsons here. It's just too strong of an episode.
Really, The Simpsons? I just thought that was like a no-brainer. I'm like, I personally, well, yeah, I'm not a fan of early Simpsons. Like season 2 I can get on. Season 1 I'm just like, no, I'm not a fan. But I'm glad Tyson picked it, so good job, Simpsons. Alright, so I definitely pressed stop on the recording and not on the video, so good luck editing that in the future, Mick. That's what you get for not paying attention. Good job, Simpsons. Whoopsie-doopsie.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. All right. So when Tyson says whoopsie, I respond with whoopsie. I'll try and sync that up. Cool. Other top TV shows that were around at the time were Growing Pains, Fresh Prince, Full House, Saved by the Bell, Law and Order, and Golden Girls. Top cartoons were Rugrats, Doug, Rocko's Modern Life, and Animaniac.
Some interesting.
I feel like we hung out in this time before. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably gushed about these things and threw some shade at Doug at least once or twice, but one more time's not bad. Doug's a boring show for boring kids, and even when it was trying to be interesting, it still wasn't. You know, if you really didn't have anything interesting to go on, I mean, I guess you could watch it. I feel like it was that good prep for like doing homework because you were so bored of the cartoon that you're like, man, I should probably go do my homework, make sure that I'm like ahead of my studies, because what am I doing wasting my life watching this show? So I feel like that was the intention.
Interesting. I kind of feel it was probably like a Saturday morning cartoon. Probably wasn't doing homework at that point. So anyways, what top movies? We got Pacific Heights came out this week. Still in theaters could be Goodfellas. And if you waited, you could see Quigley Down Under. It kind of seems like maybe a light week for movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, any parents taking their kids to Goodfellas is yeah, that'd be a questionable decision. But you know what?
Yeah.
Props to them, I guess.
Kids are back at school. You're not taking your kids to the theaters, apparently, at this time. Early 90s. Interesting time. How about top video games? So I couldn't pin down an exact date, but there were some good games that were released like around this time. So we have like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Street Fighter 2010, which is different from Street Fighter, apparently. Little Nemo, the Dream Master, which was based on a weird Japanese comic strip, which turned into a little like a movie called Little Nemo in Dreamland, which is messed up. Apparently the game's really good. It's on a bunch of like underrated gems. We might be playing it at some point. King's Quest 1, which I believe is that weird game where there was like prizes and there was like a crown and like a sword and stuff like that. So I think that was the first part here. Die Hard and Back to the Future's part 2 and 3, the video games. So some interesting games, I suppose.
Oof. Not a bunch of things that jump to the top of my list when I think back. But, and I think King's Quest is actually like a point and click adventure game. Revenge on Monkey Island or one of those games. I think it's more in line with those games than it is with but I could be completely mistaken. I don't know any of these games. They're all like a weird mystery. Like I've looked into Street Fighter, 2010 being a Street Fighter fan, and I was confused and bewildered because it's like a 2D side scroller beat 'em up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, set in the future. The future of 2010. And yeah, I think the highlight is Little Nemo for sure, because that was a weird fever dream of a cartoon that our parents let us watch. So if we're gonna play that game, I suggest we at least touch on the movie and be subjected to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, again, it popped up on a list. I'm creating kind of a document, so we have like a master document of games we have to play, and it just happens to be one of the ones that keeps jumping up. So I was like, interesting. But finally, we'll end with our top songs according to the Billboard charts. And go from there. I kind of feel again, it looked like The Usual Suspects, definitely been in this time before. So I was like, what about just the top songs at the time? Or like I think I said if we waited a few weeks, something like that. But the number 3 song was "Come Back to Me" by Janet Jackson. No, can't say that I do. So,
At least we saw Janet, or like we need at least Janet or Mariah Carey sighting. So that's a ding. I'm happy.
Yeah. All right. How about number 2 song was "Epic" by Faith No More. Copyright strike to pop up. So
yeah, might want to keep these things real short.
Well, it's just a simple click.
Do you remember playing Rock Band with this song? Like, I mean,
yes, that is literally why I put it, because I'm like,
good
that's like the Rock Band song. Yeah, all right. And then finally, the number 1 song, or in some iteration, maybe if you waited a few weeks, the song that would be popular is "Ice Ice Baby" by Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ninja Turtles,
very close to "Under Pressure" by Ninja Turtles, Vanilla Ice there. But yeah, so they won. Vanilla Ice won that legal battle because the melody is one note different. That's all it takes, kids. You can take the most popular song in the world, change one note, and boom, you still okay.
Done. Sweet. 15 minutes to get through the Wayback Machine. Good job by us.
Yeah, we're not speedy at that.
No, apparently not. All right, well, this is going to be like a 45-minute podcast, so half an hour left for Mega Man. Pretty exciting. So we dive into it. Now that we know what the pop culture landscape looks like, so if you're a little bit older than, say, 31 at this point, like in your later 30s, you'd be like, I was alive at that time. That's when this game came out. Cool. Some of the development details. So this game development began over a year after the release of Mega Man 2. The designer, Kenji Inafune, found that a recent management change at Capcom didn't really understand what made Mega Man 2 successful, which led to a rush deadline and the release of the game before the designers thought it was ready. 2 new characters were introduced in this game. Proto Man, originally called Blues in Japan, and Mega Man's dog, Rush. Proto Man acts as a mysterious character and was based on anime, whereas Rush was designed so that the extra items from Mega Man's 1 and 2 could have a little bit more personality. And since the theme was kind of like, or there was like a music theme to Rockman and Bluesman, Rush is probably named after the band, and Capcom sought ideas from fans for the creation of the game's Robot Masters. They received 50,000 design submissions.
And yet, we got Top Man. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the most amazing things with the Mega Man universe is the diversity of the Robot Masters. Like, you can literally make a Robot Master out of anything. It's amazing. Yes. And to have such, flexibility really, like, left it open to the game designers to just go nuts, which is why we got bloody 6 of these games just on the original Nintendo. And, yeah, I think that it's neat that they actually added Rush the dog, because I was always a big fan of Rush the dog, because I believe this was around the time the animated TV series was probably tearing up the charts, or about to tear up the charts, or faded off into oblivion. But I remember like watching 2 to 3 episodes, and it was fantastic. And I think that's where my love of Mega Man came from, but I'm not entirely sure. So
94. The cartoon series came out in 94, so close, but
just about to tear up the charts.
Mega Man, what was it called? Captain N the Game Master. When did that come out? Because Mega Man was, I think, a character in that. That was released in 89, so you could have seen the weird Mega Man in that. I want to look at a picture of him again, because like we're on a strict time limit today. We're doing whatever we want. Where's that? Look at that weird little green looking guy.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Mega Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I've watched like maybe 2 episodes of Captain N. It was definitely the original Mega Man show for sure. Because I was my brain probably wasn't fully developed at this point in the in the world.
All right, cool. Controls of this fun game. So the best part of Mega Man is you jump and shoot.
Yeah,
it's called Jump and Shoot Man.
Just a wee babe.
Yeah. And then, however, now Mega Man can slide, which helps with his movement speed and can be used to avoid some obstacles. Pretty neat. And then after each Robot Master battle, you acquire their weapon to beef up your arsenal. Along the way, you can also unlock 3 rush abilities: Jet Coil, Rush Coil, and Rush... I think you get something. Submarine or something like that, right?
Something. I know I used the Coil and Jet more than the third one.
I think it's just a submarine, and it's only for that one area.
Yeah, it's probably submarine.
Gemini Man, there's like that one little underwater world. That's it. That's the only time you'd use the submarine. So.
Which is why it doesn't really ring a bell, because it was probably for like 3 screens. Matt, including the slide is just like, hey, this is starting to feel like Mega Man. Now, if only I could charge up this darn pea shooter. But it feels good. Like, I mean, I think that this is like, it's Mega Man, so you have so much more flexibility. And even if like because a lot of the problem that I found was trying to jump over like a projectile that was coming towards you. And there was another one just slightly above that, so like just trying to jump through the gap. But now you just slide under the lower one. It's so much easier. Yeah, makes this game just silky smooth.
Nice. Yeah, no, controls are definitely tight. A little bit of improvement, like Tyson said, the charge shot that comes, I believe, in the next game. So it gets there. They slowly tinker with it, right? And the level design here does just play to that. If you get used to kind of the later games, this is kind of the like dash slide that we see, or like the dash jump that kind of just really increases the platforming abilities of Mega Man X, and that's kind of the first iteration we see in this little fun game here. On to the first memories, though. This was not my first Mega Man game. At some point I played Mega Man 2, Mega Man X, and then the original Mega Man, and then someone told me, though, throughout my life, that Mega Man 3 was like kind of the must play. It was the greatest in the series, and I do have I think I played through it at some point on my PSP. I didn't ever get past Doc Robot. That's kind of where I think I got stuck on that playthrough. So this is my first actual full playthrough of Mega Man 3. It was all right. It's a thing.
Yeah, I this was definitely not my first Mega Man game, but yeah, like I kind of knew about like 1 to 6 back in like and then university. I did play around with them. Never really kind of got too much into them because always felt like I should play them either chronologically, and then I just struggled with one for a really long time. And then when I bought the Legacy Collection, I think I just like messed around with them all again. But this is my first time actually playing it all the way through, which is surprising because it's like this has Rush and Proto Man. Why was I not all over this one? My Wikipedia skills were just weaker back then, I guess.
I have a copy of two, from the 3DS store that I bought. It's like Mega Man 2 and then like 6 or something like that, or 4, because I heard those are kind of stronger titles in the series too, so I've played like one of those, and just, again, randomly missed this one. But today, played through it, and that's what we're talking about for the podcast. So I think with that, we just kind of get into the Let's Play level notes, see where that takes us. Start off, though, however, we need to know what the story of this, because that's really important to understand in Mega Man games. You need to have the story. Otherwise, you're just a guy that runs and jumps and shoots and fights guys. Psh, crazy, yo. So story. So after 2 failed attempts at world domination, Dr. Wily claims to have reformed and begins working with Dr. Light on a project to build a peacekeeping robot named Gamma. During this time, 8 robot masters in charge of a set of mining worlds go berserk and make off with Gamma's 8 power crystals. You probably didn't even know that story.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, it's not like this game just drops you into the level select screen and doesn't tell you anything. But who would have guessed Dr. Wily's back? I'm guessing probably going to have to stop him at some point.
Oh, possibly. Dr. Wily comes back again and 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 again. Yeah, good old. Yeah. They're fun games. They're well-designed games, but the story is really light, so I guess we give them a free pass?
Sure. Yeah. Right. I mean, I guess when you're more in, like, you spend more effort designing the characters than you do the story involving said characters, I think it's more of just slap them into a game. We want to see the character sprites bouncing around. It's more about the in-game experience than is the outer game experience, which is, I feel like, the opposite of Sonic. Because Sonic's all about like the world it builds, and which is why they can make like 12, 15, 20 bad games, and people are still like, I'll buy another one, please. It's like, you just like the lore of this. You don't enjoy the game, or you wouldn't keep buying these. So
fascinating. Yeah. What a fascinating perspective. You're right. Huh. All right. Cool. Well, let's dive into these well-designed levels, apparently, at the level notes section. So at the stage select screen, you can select any of the 8 robot masters and go after them. It's amazing. Let's follow this random boss order that I found on a Google search. That's how we're going through it today. So apparently we're starting with Magnet Man. There are a lot of kind of just non-distinct levels. This is one of them. This level it's kind of an industrial area. There's some magnets that hover you. There's a boss fight with Breakman. Maybe Proto Man, maybe they're the same person, maybe they're not, I'm not sure. And some light platforming. The boss here, he isn't too hard. And if you have 1 to 2 E-Tanks, you should be able to avoid his magnet attacks and live long enough to beat him. And then we get the magnet missiles.
Yeah, and I think he's one of the few bosses that actually take like a lot of damage to just the little pea shooter. And those are definitely the ones you want to start with, even if the patterns are a little tricky, but once you get it down, it's not too bad. And like Mick said, if you have some E-Tanks, it's all right.
Yeah, it was definitely easier. For some reason, I like to I start with Snake Man a lot if I'm just kind of playing the game and I don't have any prior knowledge. He's all right. He can definitely beat them. Some of these bosses, I don't know if you can beat, or they're way more difficult without the weakness. Magnet Man, one of those guys you can definitely make. He, however, leads us into Hard Man. So this area kind of has a mining theme to it. Okay, all right. We are attacked by some Monkings. They're like gorilla enemies. Some bees, which are really annoying, but nothing really serious. There isn't a really easy E-Tank to collect here. So I maybe would recommend like start here if you can't find a password and kind of just cheese the like 9 E-Tanks right at the start from a password. Really easy to collect a couple E-Tanks in Hardman's level, then kind of go back and fight Magnet Man. And the boss here, he's kind of a bigger guy. He tries to crush you, and you use the magnet missiles, and they kind of are heat-seeking. So really easy to kill, and I think we get the hard knuckles from this guy.
Yeah, I think there's a couple tricky platforming sections where you kind of have to kind of work your way to the edge of a platform and then jump and almost bump the screen, but work your way back. You're almost like juking the screen, kind of move it forward, but like you like land back where you were. Learn that technique because it's going to save you so much frustration in some of these later levels where you just have to move the screen forward, but you want to be on the safety of a more back platform. Just not too stressful like area to practice it, but get it down quick.
Nice. Yeah, like with this, I mean, if you're playing on the Legacy Collection, there is kind of a save state feature, and you can kind of just save scum. I prefer to kind of start at the start of a screen and try and make my way across the screen in like one go before kind of saving before I get to the next area. So I'll do that occasionally. So yeah, some of those tougher jumps, it just through trial and attrition, you'll get through it, right? I don't think there are any of the hidden platforms or like the disappearing blocks. There are some in Magnet Man stage, none in Hard Man, and I don't think there's any in Top Man, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't really write those down. So Top Man is the next guy we get to fight, and it's a random green industrial area. There are some annoying jumps with materializing nuts and bolt enemies. Nothing really bad. And the boss, you just kind of shoot him and avoid his tops with the hard knuckles, and he dies.
Yeah, and again, this is my favorite like Robo Master because he's so original. He has a top slapped to his head, and we're like, Top Man, nailed it. On to the next one. I'm glad we spent so much time and effort developing these characters. It's like,
yeah,
Top Man.
He's strange.
He has a cool power
Top
though,
Man.
but once you get him, he basically does like some spinning attacks, which is very useful.
Oh, really? I think the top spin is like the worst one. And actually, I don't even know how it works. So you just kind of jump and press the button and you spin?
I want to say either Shadow or Gemini. Either you just like spin uppercut basically them, and it just takes off like 4 to 5 bars of their health. So it's really easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's Shadow Man because that's kind of the next on the list here.
Could be. I want to say I didn't use it for Shadow Man because Shadow Man's weird. He's like, and this is where the game starts getting harder because like the next few boss, minus like Snake Man, are a little weird and tricky. And they don't really go down to just a regular pea shooter, so you actually have to like use the Robo Master's abilities, which I swear is the foundation of where we all got our anxieties of using the abilities of the bosses. Because imagine like playing this game as a kid, and you get to one of these bosses, and you don't have the specific thing that you need to beat them or to do a lot of damage, and you end up just like chewing through all your E-tanks because you were a little sloppy with your item usage. So definitely starting to get a little harder in this game, and I think that Shadow Man's level is a good example of where it jumps off.
Shadow Man, you say? So apparently this area has some lava in the background, and there's some enemies that are grenades, and Proto Man fights you again, and then there's some enemies that shut off the lights, so don't fall down any holes, although I don't think there's a lot of pits around those guys, so it's just kind of figuring out the platforming kind of trial and error. The boss here, though, if you use the top spin attack, apparently you win, so like I said, not the greatest attack, but it does the job at least against Shadow Man, which moves us on to the next area, Spark Man. I think I played through this game 3 times to try and like have some semblance that I could talk about some aspect of the game design. It's tricky because they're just random areas and like a couple little screens and you're done, right? Nothing really too distinct stands out. Like I know in Top Man stage there's a screen where there's little platforms that move up and down and they rotate, but like that's kind of it. And like I know there's the lights out mechanic in the Shadow Man stage, but nothing really super specific or like any like kudos I would give to the game design.
No, and even the character, like even the enemy models are usually like, here's 2 bolts, they attack, and you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah,
you couldn't even design an actual like enemy sprite. You're just throwing like, here's 2 screws. Just shrink.
Well, I kind of almost want to go back and
we had in the literal last game. Just shrink it. Do it 1/10 the size, slap 2 together, and have it come towards you. There's an enemy sprite. There's one of your 16 enemy sprites done. You're like, this is. Did you do this in an afternoon? Like, I get that they had to pump out 6 of these games during the NES lifespan, but I figured that some effort was put in towards the character design and like layout. Yeah, because there's no unifying theme. Like, if you look like Mega Man 2, there's usually like a unifying theme that runs across the whole level. Here it's just like, here's some stages that we built. Go.
Well, they're all just very industrial.
I played some Mario Maker levels that have like more synergy going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and like you said, like Mega Man 2, I kind of do want to almost go back and play Mega Man 2 and look at them, because I do feel like those levels are tied together well, versus these are just, like I said off the top, kind of non-distinct, and I couldn't tell you specifically, like even if I was looking at a picture of them, to be like, oh, that one, because they kind of do just blend together essentially, right? Like Sparkman stage, we're in a power plant themed level, which is different from Magnet Man, and there's like magnets and power apparently are different. There's some elevator platforms and some trash compactors at the end. Oh, and the boss here, if you use the Shadow Blades and some E-Tanks, you will win.
Those were trash compactors. I wonder what those blocks of black were falling down.
Yeah, and they're random. Like, if you just run past them, they're fine. But if you kind of want to, like, spawn some items and, like, some refills, it gets a little bit trickier. But really, there's no point because you end up just getting crushed and losing more life than you'd ever gain. So, I don't really understand the point of them.
Yeah. There's very few spots to farm. So
yeah. Again, Spark, you would think trash. You wouldn't think like Hardman would have trash compactors. But anyways, now we're on to the level I play again. Usually at the start of the game, but apparently we have to play closer to the end to be successful. The Snake Man. So I said these last two areas, but it's this and the next area at least have a little bit more distinctness. Are kind of probably the best in the game. So this is one of the best areas in the game. We have to fight through some snake themed levels. We shoot some little and big snake heads. The boss here you can just defeat with the Mega Buster. I did do it once or twice after a couple attempts. But if you have the Shadow Blades, he goes down way quicker. Kind of one of the cooler design bosses in my opinion. And maybe my at least top 2 favorite level of the game, Snake Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him aesthetically, and I like his like boss battle. But then I try to use his like power that you get from him, and you're just like, "Go, Snake!" It's the funniest little thing. It makes me like chuckle because it's like, what were they doing? Like sometimes like people are throwing around blades, or you get extra power like guns. No, go, Snake! And it's like,
go, Snake! Yeah, him and Topspin are kind of. Yeah.
I just laugh because it's like these powers. Sometimes they're hilarious. So I like to jump with the snake power and kind of try to lob the snake onto somebody. It's a good time.
Well, hopefully the snakes and Topspin don't come into play at the final battle of the game. Oh, Gemini Man, that was the next area. And now, for randomly, we're in like an ice/water themed level. You can shoot some little eggs to kind of move across the area, which release tadpoles who do have a bunch of pickups that you can pick up. So, I mean, like you should have full health. You can fill up some of your ammo. Sometimes there's lots of extra lives. You have to fight some penguin ice dispensers and traverse the only water area, which is what you would need the Rush Marine or something, whatever they call it. And you're like, oh, interesting. The boss here is nothing special, and you do get to use search snakes to kill him. So, Tyson's favorite weapon.
Throw those snakes. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, I figured that, there'd be like a frog man with the tadpoles and stuff, but then there's also penguins and stuff. So you're like, again, not a lot of like synergies going on, but definitely some fun. It's a fun level. It's not nothing too stressful. I don't sweat this level at all. So
yeah. Again, I think it's one of the better designed of the game. Like, we were being a little critical of some other levels. 2 of the 6, I think, Gemini, Snake Man, better ones. This one I completely forgot about when I was writing the notes initially. It wasn't until I was kind of going back that I was like, Needle Man, forgot all about you. Oops. Outside of some, like, hedgehog guys that kind of shoot spikes and then roll around, nothing really here. Maybe it's like a junkyard-themed area. I don't know, maybe you're outside. If you use the Gemini laser, you'll kill Needle Man, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So, hooray!
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's too many tricky platforms. I think this is some disappearing platform levels where you just got to use the rush coil, but that might be Snake Man. I might be mixing up the two.
Yeah. I don't remember. Anyways, now that we're done the 8 robot masters, you're like, oh, we get to go fight. Whoever the bad guy is, probably Wily, but nuh-uh. You have to fight someone called Doc Robot. Oh. So what he does is he infiltrates 4 areas. You have to go back. They add a couple new little obstacles. Nothing major. And then you have to fight some bosses from the previous 2 games, but with your current array of weapons. So hopefully you can save state and try different attempts. So we start in Sparkman stage revisited. Oh, it's just like the first one. A couple more obstacles. 2 boss fights. We fight Metal Man, and he uses magnet missiles or hard knuckles, and Quick Man. Use the Gemini laser or the search snakes, and you will be successful.
kind of a different. Like this kind of reminds me of like a campaign or playthrough plus or whatever the heck it is, with some almost hidden DLC. It feels neat playing some Easter, like it's almost like a little Easter egg built into the game, which I like. So I mean, Capcom's known for sending you back to the start of the game after you just beat it, but I think this is handled a lot better than, let's say, Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I mean, it adds a little bit more padding in the middle of the game. Not the greatest parts, again, because the levels aren't different. They just add some new obstacles. Like, you go to Shadow Man stage, some more obstacles. Cool. You fight Woodman, though, and he uses the Needle Cannon or Search Snakes, and Heat Man. Use the top spin, and you will be successful.
Yeah, Woodman's a jerk. He's hard without Metal Man's abilities.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I know, he's not fun. Yeah, a little bit of timing. In theory, again, if you're really struggling, there's probably a password out there that gets you to a specific spot in the game with like 9 lives, 9 E-tanks. You should be all right. On to Gemini's Man Revisited. Couple new obstacles, nothing great. Flashman, however, used the Needle Cannon or Gemini Laser. And then finally, you fight Bubble Man, and you get the Shadow Blades or Spark Shock. One more to go. All right. Needleman, no obstacles. Psych, more obstacles. Shit, my notes are funny. Airman, though, he used magnet missiles or spark shock. And then finally, Crashman used the hard knuckles and top spin. So if you're ever playing through this game, you're probably better off looking at a list online than me quickly reading through those weaknesses. But so is life.
Also, if you don't remember what any of these characters look like, you just got to go back and replay Mega Man 2 and you'll get a nice little plethora of most of these.
Yeah, like I don't want to be super critical of this game, but I do kind of feel like I kind of want to just play Mega Man 2 instead of Mega Man 3.
Better soundtrack for sure.
Yeah. But we're almost at the home stretch, though. We've kind of beat the Robot Masters. We beat the Robot Masters from the last game, damn it. Now we have to fight a guy called Breakman again. Apparently, I thought he was Proto Man, but I think at the end, Proto Man shows up and like saves you or stops him or something like that. So Breakman is the fake Proto Man that Dr. Wily used.
Yeah. Feels like he's like the equivalent to, I don't know, like a not good Gamma, but
yeah. Well, I mean,
also kind of like, hey, here's that story. You know how we interjected Proto Man a bunch? Let's try to make more of this character that you had fought 3 times, and all I did was just jump across the screen while facing one way and then turn around and face the other way and jump across the screen.
Oh. You just slide under him and get behind him, and you just follow his pattern, and he dies really simply. So I do feel like Capcom, when they were making Mega Man, they really wanted kind of like a red anti-hero kind of guy to take over the series at some point. So they were kind of really hyping the mystery around who is this Proto Man, this Breakman character, and like they were going to try and make him really important, and they kind of wanted to like push a game series with just him in it. Just saying, you know, a red kind of Mega Man looking guy. Kind of feel like that's what the vibe they were going for.
Yeah, well, I think it just goes to show that even from like game 3 of this franchise, they were already trying to write poor Mega Man out. Like, I know in the first one, he was just kind of like a servant robot or whatever, that they're just like, now you have a Buster Cannon, go. It just feels like this poor character that is just nothing but just tries his best, murders everybody, does everything he needs to do, and then walks off during the 4 seasons. You know, it's just, he doesn't get the love and respect even from his creators. They were just trying to replace him with some edge hero. And you're like, no, man. Give me tried and true blue. I'll take him anytime.
Oh, I think I remember what happened in the story. Okay, so after each boss that we defeat originally, we get an energy shard of Gamma, and then we're supposed to like return to Dr. Light, give it back to him, and then Breakman shows up after we destroy Doc Robot, and during this fight, maybe Proto Man's like, oh no, someone stole Gamma, so we go back to Dr. Light's lab and find out Dr. Wily has stolen Gamma, and he was evil the whole time, and it was his setup. So I think that's why there's a weird Breakman interlude. He was a spy or like a Proto Man clone that was sent to determine us. There you go. Look, I remembered something.
There you go. I'm glad you're paying attention.
Yeah, I figured it out. Good job. So now we're on to the Wily stages. The Wily Castle, which is kind of the end level of most of these games, unless like maybe a different bad guy shows up in the next one. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to play the other games to find out. So on stage 1, these are like slightly more difficult stages as compared to the early game. Nothing great. I didn't really replay them more than once, so I don't know what happened. But apparently the boss here is the Komagoro Maker. You are in a water-filled room. A machine shoots robot turtles at you, and you kill them. Good job.
Yep.
All right. Okay. How about stage 2? We fight another yellow devil.
Who doesn't love water levels?
Yeah. It's easy. Anyways, stage 2, we fight the yellow devil. Remember him?
Oh, I remember him fondly.
Again, E-tanks. E-tanks are your friend.
Oh, and slide under him. This is what I'm talking about, people. When just wait, because you don't have to jump. You don't have to do what you did in number 2. You don't have to jump. You can just slide. You can slide right under that one of those abilities, and it's so much easier. You don't have to like pixel perfect your arc. You can just slide.
Nice.
It's nice.
Sweet. On to stage 3, and somewhere it said that this is Wily's Castle Defense System. Cool. The boss here is holographic Mega Mans. Search snakes or maybe Mega Busters. Kill them.
Yeah, it's always weird how they like change the like it goes character select and then just like moves you along the Wily's castle when you're completing it. So it's interesting the way they do it. Must be just a memory management thing. I don't know why they just don't make it all one long stage.
Yeah. No idea. Stage 4, however, though, is the 8 robot masters, or like I like to refer to it as a boss rush. So you have to play through each one. Now that you're fully equipped with the weapons, it's not too bad. At some point, you might die just to recharge your health, but like you should be able to get through it mostly with only one life intact. Or practice, go back and like early game, start a new file, practice against those robot masters that are giving you a tough time.
Yeah, the boss rush is always how good are you at killing everybody? Do you know all their weaknesses? Just have a little chart right next to you and don't even worry about it. Oh, also I didn't even mention how nice the menu system is in this game. Oh, it's so nice to just like have it pop up, you just select, pop down. Feels so crisp.
There was one point where I was stuck just based on one of my playthroughs and based on who I had a hard time getting to the bottom of the second column from the first. So I had like 1, 2, 3, and then the 6th one. And because 4 and 5 were empty, whenever I pressed over, it would send me to my E-tanks. And I think it was like, I had to figure out finally it was like an up and down function. That was the only thing in the menu that kind of did mess me up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. If you're trying to select left and right, but
yeah.
Now sometimes you just got to up and down at these old systems.
I figured out. It's not super hard, but it kind of works. I think maybe the final stage, last stage, stage 5. So we fight the 3rd iteration of the Wily mission. If you use Rush Jet to kind of cheese the fight, you can float up and just pump your Mega Buster into a space, and then you are done. But we find out there is one more challenge. So Wily escapes final time to the final Wily stage Gamma. We have to fight against a massive robot that takes up the whole screen, and I wonder what weapon to use. It's probably the very useful and not useless Top Spin and or Search Snakes to deliver the final blows and defeat Gamma once and for all.
You throw them snakes.
Yeah.
So silly.
Or do a suicide jump
and
and Top Spin.
You know what? Who's not going to kill a giant robot boss with a little snake? I feel like that is just the logic is just 5 head. It's amazing.
It's something, all right. It sure is something, all right. I kind of do feel like even like Mega Man 2. Love that game. It's great. That weird alien guy that you kill at the end that you throw like the bubbles at, which bubbles operate a lot like Search Snakes. Kind of useless, but that's the weakness. I don't know why they did that.
I'm not sure. Must have been a game designer. Like they just really liked that one thing that they're like, I'm gonna choose my favorite one, and I want this one to be the weakness, so everybody has to use my favorite. It's not like there's no logic behind it. There's just like, it's clearly somebody just randomly either picked it out of a hat or is just somebody's favorite ability. So it's like, you have to do this. So yeah, I just think it's silly because like the little snake animation is just like a little worm coming to kill you. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, but with that, if you could do all those things that we just said, and you're listening along as you're playing, and you're like a sick, twisted bugger, because we did not provide a lot of anything. Like, one sentence described the whole sentence. We really not a lot of analysis there. But if you did that, you also finish the game with us, which is really exciting because the ending is before we can capture Wily, the castle begins to shake and a large block crushes him. One also crushes us, but a mysterious shadowy figure appears and saves us from the rubble. It turns out it was Proto Man, and then you watch the credits. All right, then cool, great.
Yeah, I'm glad Proto Man, the guy we wrecked 4 or 5 times in this game, turns around to, oh, look, I'm so awesome, I can still save you.
Yeah.
Eyes roll.
Yeah. Current thoughts, though, on this fun title. So, not bad. I don't think it's as strong as Mega Man 2. There are some bright spots. The weapons really aren't my favorite. The bosses' stages don't stand out. The Wily Castle appears to be that hard. Doesn't appear to be that hard. There we go. The addition of Rush I really like. It just adds a lot of kind of character to that generic items from the past games, and kind of, again, builds a little bit of the lore. Nothing super major, but it's nice when you see kind of a cute dog in a game. And I thought that I played through this game a few times before the podcast, and I didn't regret a single playthrough. Well, that's a nice sentiment. Nice. Good job, Mick. How about yourself? You got any...
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's a Mega Man game. So, I mean, there's lots of little things you can nitpick, but as a retro game, it's just a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of joy to be had. It's cute. There's a fun little world to run around in. Some of the platform can be tricky, but it's very rewarding. Like, I mean, when you beat an actual, like, every time you beat a level, you feel like you accomplished something because it's not easy. It's not an easy, like, just run across the screen and talk to so-and-so, then run back like it is in some RPGs. Where it feels like you accomplish something. Like every time you do like beat a boss or you beat like the Yellow Devil, it's hard. It's not an easy thing, but when you get it down and you get that pattern, you just realize you like take your time, don't rush things, but spam that shoot button and get ready to jump or slide depending on it. And I think that like a lot of these mechanics just are timeless. So you can always pick up a Mega Man game, or you can show a Mega Man game to anybody, and it's always going to be a good time. It may not be like the most polished thing in the world if people want like really high-end graphics, but that's why we got the X series. So
Dos is true. Nice, cool. And then final, what would you change? So really, honestly, nothing. I think the first 3 Mega Man games are pretty stellar, right? They are a bit stronger than the first 3 X games. Okay, and as the series progresses, there are more changes that Capcom would make that negatively impact the series. However, no such changes are apparent in this game. Huh, cool. Yourself, what would you change?
Maybe just one little thing is I would have a time to completion. Like I think that would be awesome for the, OG speedrunning community if we would have had like a timer built into games, like this is how long it took you to beat the game, and because then you could just use that as your default thing as opposed to trying to time it yourself, because people be liars out there. But that's just such a small little minuscule little thing, is just to give me a little, instead of a total score and everything, just give me a time. That's all I ask.
Cool. Nice. So that's nothing major. How about a final, are you buying it? That kind of ends our review of this game. Kind of mixed bag. I think, again, we're kind of both like, Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2. Maybe stronger entries, although Mega Man is more versatile in this one. Still not terrible. Like, it's definitely one of the games you, like, should play. Like, don't at the point where, like, avoid this one yet. That's kind of just, like, our opinion. So, like I said, that's end of the review. We got a fan theory, a cultural significance. And then we're done. So, are you buying it? So, rumor has it, Wily is dead. He has a robotic clone that fulfills his evil plan. That is how he is crushed by a rock in this game, but is shown watching Mega Man from afar during the end credits in his ship.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, but I would say he's probably more of like, Wily reminds me a little bit more of a Mr. Sinister. Well, there's definitely clones involved. You never know which one's the real one. I would say that the real Wily is probably alive, and that the clone robot that he has being put into an actual like dangerous position. Yeah, I bet you that's the clone. It's not the actual Wily. Wily's too smart to be like, no, I'm gonna take on Mega Man head on. It's like, this guy's already beat me twice. I know what I need to do is I just need to build a clone, do the same stuff, and he'll probably fail, but just in case, I'm gonna be watching this one. So I think he'd be a little bit arrogant to put himself into that kind of harm's way.
Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we actually get any lore. He pops up somewhere in the X series. It's weird stuff. Today, we won't worry about that. But we'll end with a cultural significance. So in this section, we look at kind of game tropes, marketing tactics, interesting stories. We talk about how this game relates, give other examples, and tie it all back together in the end. Hooray! This is what is Mega Man without the bosses? Today I'm going to give you a report card or like a scouting report on each of the bosses, and you can decide who you would want to draft onto your team of awesome bosses. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And I guess your team is you are an evil robot collector and you wish to overthrow the world. So there you go. I think I was breaking it down. So draft as in select them, and team as in you were the evil robot collector. All right. So you ready for that? So I guess we have 8 report cards.
Yep.
All right. And then I guess, I don't know, we pick a team? You pick a team? I'm not really sure how this works.
We can snake draft it. Like.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
we'll do that.
You want to do it? Let's go through the prospects and see what we got. So we got to start with Magnet Man. So his stats are Magnet Missile does 3 damage. His Contact does 6 damage. His pro comparisons would be, or pro comps, as you might hear, are Magneto and Polaris from the X-Men series.
Interesting. Strong contender.
Right. Yeah. So like good comparisons. Damage, you're like, oh, that's not bad. How about Hardman? So his stats is Hard Knuckles does 3 damage. His Contact does 6. And his body press is 6 plus 6, so double the damage of just regular contact. So I think that's when he like jumps in there and like butt slams you. His pro comparisons would be E Honda from Street Fighter and or the Blob from X-Men.
Mm-hmm. So we got a very strong damage dealer. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right, okay. And next we've got Top Man, so everyone's favorite. So his tops do 4 damage, his contact and top spin do 6 damage. So he's a little bit better at the damage dealing than most. His pro comparisons would be Moses from South Park and Sonic the Hedgehog, because he spins.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, we all know who my top pick is.
Yep. Shadow Man, on the other hand, is our next guy. His stats are his Shadow Blade does 4 damage, Contact does 4, and he also does a slide attack, which is 6 damage, so a little bit more variance. His pro comparison would be the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because he kind of has a ninja design, and he is dark, and Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden games.
Ooh, he's a slippery, like he's your assassin for sure. You definitely and he's strong to deal with, but with just Mega Man, and man, he's Mega Man. So
yeah. All right. Okay. See, so I had like some fun with this. This was like the most fun I think I had with these ones. How about Spark Man as our next guy up? He's got his stats are Mini Spark does 2 damage, Contact and Spark Shot does 4 damage. So he's a little bit weaker, but his pro comparisons are Electro from the Spider-Man series, Thor, and let's throw a little love out to the DC heads out there, Shazam.
Nice. It's interesting. He'd be like he's a little squishy, but you if he was in your back row of a party, he's not too bad. Not bad.
All right. And how about Snake Man? Everyone's clear favorite. Stats, he's got Search Snakes, which do 4 damage, and Contact, which does 6 damage. So kind of right in the middle of the pack. His pro comparisons are Serpentor from the G.I. Joe. He's the guy with the big cobra head on him. And the snake that falls asleep on Cassandra from Wayne's World.
That is a great comparison. I think that is your most accurate comparison so far.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, good. That was the only one I was like, what's another snake I can think of from a movie? And I was like, oh yeah, that snake that falls asleep on Cassandra. All right, perfect, good. And then I was going to go back and like make funny ones for all of them. Yeah. How about Gemini Man? So 2 to go, last 2. Stats are Shot does 3 damage, Contact from Clones, and Gemini Laser all do 6 damage. So he's got a lot going on there. Pro comparisons would be Jamie Madrox, Multiple Man from Marvel, and Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. He is a strong contender. I mean, the typical damage shot is only 3, so I mean, not quite Shadow Man material, but he's got that big 6 damage, which is good to see. So.
Nice. And finally, Needleman, last of our prospects that we're going to look at today. We've got the Needle Cannon, which does 3 damage. Contact is 4 damage. and Needle Hammer does 6 damage. His pro comparisons are Spike from X-Men Evolution, Wolverine, and Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because they Spike and Spike. So
his name's Spike. I get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I think that we got a real strong lineup here, and I'm interested to see what our team's gonna shape up. Do you want to go first? Do you want the first overall pick, or should I?
You know what? Because I put together these.
Because whoever gets first, like the next person gets second and third. So those are some strong. You get some strong top picks there. So
all right. Do I have a coin? I have a little coin here. Do you want heads or tails?
We'll go heads.
It is tails. All right. So I will take the first pick. For my first pick, I would like. I think I'm gonna get him in the second round. So I don't want that. I'm gonna go Gemini Man. Ooh. I like that. Yeah, I like the clones, and he does quite a bit of damage. So yeah, first pick off the board, Gemini.
He's a very strong one. I think I gotta go Hard Man, Shadow Man for my 2-3.
Hard and all right. Yeah, Shadow's a good one too. He was probably like second on my board. For myself, I think just personal favorites. I mean, I'd be reminisced if I didn't take Snake Man with my second pick.
Yeah, he had to be on the team.
I just like personal favorite of mine. And then based on who's left, I would like to take me. I think I need a bit of like a range dealer. So Snake Man definitely set me back. So I'm gonna go with Spark Man, just so I have a little bit of a range on that one. Okay. Spark Man next.
Okay, I'm writing these down real quick. Okay, so who's left on the board is Magnet Man, Top Man, and Needle Man.
Oh, I forgot about Top Man. Top Man sucks.
Yeah, well, hey, I get to pick two, and then you get left with my leftovers here. Yeah. So I'll take Needle Man, and I'll take Magnet Man, and then you can take Top Man.
I forgot about Top Man. You know what? Thinking back, I forgot about Top Man and how much I hate him. Shit, really should have picked second. Oh well.
It happens. So our team is.
I got Gemini Man, Snake Man, Spark Man, and Top Man. Yeah. Which means I probably lose to your team because your team is far more superior.
Yeah. I got Hard Man as my frontline dealer. Yep. Then I got Spark Man as like my DPS. And then Needle Man, who can do some damage. Not quite Gemini, but he's pretty good. Right. Hit there from the back row. And then I also got my Magnet Man, who'll just launch homing missiles. So
yeah, I should have definitely went Magnet over Spark. I think that would have made my team a little bit stronger. Though.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I was surprised you left Top Man because I think he's just stats wise, the 6+6. He's got to be he was my top pick for sure. But then I'm like, it's Top Man, Gemini, and Shadow are all 1, 2, 3. They're all that top A list. You're you need some of them. So.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, there you go. Tyson won this draft. So maybe that's a thing that we could, going forward, we do little boss drafts and we kind of keep running tabs on who's the better master. And I now know to scout them better in the future. Even though I wrote the freaking contest, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I think going first is also maybe a deterrent. If you win the draw, you almost might want to go second because you get 2 and 3. Because it's such a small pick, you get 8. So if you go first, you get the worst player no matter what. But if you're going second,
the first player, you and I mean, I guess because Gemini and Hard were kind of 1A, 1B almost, it would have been behooved me. So there you go. We learned something about drafting Robot Masters today.
Yeah, there we go. There's a little fantasy drafting strategy to mix in with your Mega Man, and maybe we'll do this for all the other Mega Mans. Who knows?
Cool. Nice. Awesome. So with that, that kind of ends our show. It's kind of what we want to talk about. We had a little bit of fun, showed a little bit of frustration, showed a little bit of love to this game, which is, I think, beloved in the community. So yeah, there you go. So cool stuff. Hinted at maybe future projects that we might work on in the future unless something else jumps in our way. That's it. Did we miss anything?
James Bond.
That's it. There you go. Oh, look at that. We went over an hour. Maybe once I edited it down, it'll be a little bit long. But I did not think it would be this long. So good job, us.
Yep, we nailed it.
Cool, yeah. All right, well, with that, like I said, we're back 2 weeks for our Zelda retrospective. Finally done Ocarina of Time on the next episode, and then we're on to Majora's Mask in a month and a half. So
exciting stuff.
Yeah, awesome, cool. So with that, without further ado, I say goodbye and
talk to you later.
Talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.